Hello everyone. You won't be surprised to learn that resource investment is key for generative AI innovation. Now, if you're watching this, you probably agree that generative AI is key for transformative growth for associations. But what you might not know is that you need to invest into time, tools, and support to foster innovation with generative AI in order to create new member value and operational efficiency alike. Time is the core resource for AI innovation in associations. Daily demands on staff, especially and volunteers as well, limit opportunities for them to engage in creative tech exploration. So you need to structure innovation hours, hackathons, AI sprints to enable innovation and collaborative breakthroughs. You've probably heard of Google's 20% time, where Google allows teams to take and individuals to take 20% of their time to work on side projects. You might not be able to afford 20% time, but perhaps 10% time or 5% time. In good concentrated chunks, that will be sufficient from associations I've worked with. That has been enough. Although the more time you dedicate, of course, the more innovation you get. Okay, that's time. What about tools? So you want to think about scalable cloud platforms like Microsoft Azure, Amazon Web Services, Google Cloud, to empower generative AI projects. Have good quality data from your members, so gather together data. Maybe you'll need to write out some SOPs, some wikis for generative AI to use. Have pre-built AI tools and platforms like the generative AI library Hugging Face, which people can use if you inform them about how to use it to enable generative AI adoption for your needs. And have collaboration platforms like Slack, Microsoft Teams, whatever, things like this, to enable idea sharing and collaboration virtually. Next, support. Support is a broad category. You might have mentorship, where you provide people who are early adopters of generative AI to people who want to learn about generative AI. So that's a matter of time as well as context. You might provide funding for tailored training programs to ensure that teams stay updated on advancements after you provide the initial training. Partnering with external AI experts and vendors is going to be great to address internal resource gaps and lack of knowledge. And think about successful case studies to avoid common implementation pitfalls. Talking about a case study, let me share with you about how I worked with an engineering association focusing on volunteer retention. So that's what we wanted to focus on. We designed quarterly AI sprints for cross-functional teams to explore AI applications for this purpose. And we guided investment in a centralized, clean cloud-based platform to have good data analysis. And we developed the predictive model to identify key drivers of volunteer satisfaction. What we found is that there were certain leadership programs that were very helpful for boosting retention of volunteers by about 30%. And so we expanded these offerings and we achieved a 12% increase in overall volunteer retention within 6 months. 12%, that's very nice. And the satisfaction scores of volunteers rose by 20% for targeted engagement strategies. So that's an example of how you as an association leader can use generative AI to catalyze transformation in your association. The key here is investing resources into tools, time, and support. Financial investment, that's going to be key to success. And have a culture of experimentation that will pave the way for learning the kind of things we did in that engineering association and getting the kind of outcomes we did in that engineering association. Having that culture of experimentation and appropriate investment into experimentation is what will set up your association as a thought leader in your industry on generative AI adoption, which will attract new members and help you retain current members and volunteers. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of the Future Ready podcast, Future Ready Association podcast. Please make sure to subscribe wherever you checked out this show and leave a review. And if you have any questions, please email me at gleb@disasteravoidanceexperts.com. Again, that's GLEB@disasteravoidanceexperts.com.